Yo, what's up? Welcome to the vlog. Bob here. We're gonna get right into it. It's been a very, very busy week. As a matter of fact, it's been very busy for the past few weeks. And I have some really cool things coming up between now and the end of the year on the vlog. So be looking for those. Please stay tuned because I really do think I will be posting some wonderful content. So please do not miss that. Let's jump right into it. Today we're going to get deep into fuzz faces. As you've probably seen at the top of the video, I put in a little bit of footage of multiple fuzz faces. And we're going to get deep into that today. In particular, the fuzz faces that kind of get into the tones of this record. This is the Jimi Hendrix Band of Gypsies. As we all know, I use this fuzz face quite a bit. This is a Crest Audio era fuzz. It's a BC 109C fuzz face. As you can see, I have my Velcro on the bottom, and let me show you this. You see this bottom plate? Well, I have it notched so that this thing can plug into my pedal board. Because they don't have a power jack on these old fuzz faces. Now, inside, as you can see, I got this kind of set up like so. You will find a very simplistic fuzz face circuit. Now, these transistors here are the metal can type of BC 109Cs. Now, another staple of the fuzz face are these alpha pots, and in most fuzz faces you'll find this little stamp that says FUZZFACE 001. It's a casting mark, and these particular fuzz faces were made during the Dave Fox era. Dave Fox is well known for the Fox Rocks company, and he has a bunch of awesome fuzz pedals. As a matter of fact, we're going to get into that in just one moment. Next on the list, though, is another pedal we've talked about quite a bit on here, which is the Deep Trip BOG. Now, he has it pretty tucked away in here, but it's also a silicon transistor inside of here, and I will post a picture of the board reversed so that you can see what the circuit looks like. That said, he is using, he is very cryptic about which transistors he uses, and there is absolutely no information on the web at this time about what they exactly are. I do know that they are the small black plastic ones, which brings me to our next situation. Bam! New pedal day. Eric Johnson FUZZFACE. What? So, this is current production. Dunlop FUZZFACE, made for Eric Johnson. Now, Eric likes a kind of a tone that's got the bias turned down on it quite a bit, so it kind of gets a little more character, possibly a little more Velcro-y. But this is a really great fuzz. It's the most expensive. Well, I would say it's probably the most expensive FUZZFACE reissue. Just I don't know if the Bonamassa one is the same price, but this one's $200. That mint green, or whatever you call that kind of turquoise, aqua green Hendrix one, it's like $150. They do this really good. I mean, they do this right. The everything from the pots to the components, the casting is all very much to the period and looks vintage correct. Look at this battery snap here. I mean, this thing looks like something out of a vintage pedal. Now the transistors on this are BC 183Cs, and they're these little plastic doohickeys right here, and doohickeys. Anyway, right here, and they are also silicon transistor, so they are similar to these other FUZZFACEs out here. But we're going to try this, and I'll let you hear that. And just a note, there's an energizer in this right now, and I will probably pull that out, put a carbon zinc battery in there. I don't know if I'm going to give sound examples of two different types of batteries, but I might. new pedal day Mach 2, boom. As you can see from the top of the video, I was taste testing several of these mini FUZZFACEs, and I did quite a bit of trading this week. So some other things have left, nothing too critical, nothing that I use on the reg, so don't get alarmed. And I wanted to get into some of these FUZZFACEs because I'm a huge FUZZFACE connoisseur, and this one I thought sounded really cool. I almost got the germanium one, but I really like this one. Has a lot of gain, plus it has a really nice cleanup on the volume knob. As you know, that is very important to me. Now, let's get into the transistors on this. This is a BC108B. They are located here. And also, something really cool about these mini FUZZFACEs is there is a, let's see if I can, there is a trim pot right here, this little blue box, and that is also, that is the bias control. So if you don't like the bias, the way it's set, you can make this a lot more lower biased or higher, you know, depending on what you like. But if you want that super Velcro sound, you can get that. If you want to tweak it to be a little bit more like the Eric Johnson or like a vintage FUZZFACE. Now when you tweak the bias, it does affect how well the pedal cleans up. So you have to be aware of that. Which, if you're like me, you like when you roll that volume down and that sparkly, clean thing kind of comes on. It's really nice. So. So yes, one more pedal. I'll be right back. Now, I probably won't test this one today, but I don't want to leave it out either. This is my CC1 Captain Coconut. This is the first, version of the Captain Coconut, and as you can see here, was sold by Analog Man, and this is basically an Octavia, a Univibe, and the Fuzz. Now the Fuzz in this particular unit is a hybrid Fuzz, so one germanium transistor and one silicone transistor. Particularly awesome sounding unit. This is probably something I will never get rid of. So I have quite a few FUZZFACE options here. Just to note that, Dave Fox makes the Captain Coconut, and he also makes this gray FUZZFACE, which I use. So for the longest time, Dave Fox has been providing all of my fuzz needs. What are you going to do? Now, furthermore, on the subject of FUZZFACEs and Jimi Hendrix, and the Band of Gypsies. It is a wide-held belief nowadays, especially by George Trips, who is making a lot of the Dunlop stuff that is fantastic at this point. I don't know, he's not making it, he's designing it. He's a genius. That said, he believes that the Hendrix Fuzz was ultimately a modified Octavia with the octave removed. Hence to the Hendrix edition, which I believe they call the Band of Gypsies 1-2, which is red with the white knobs, and it's basically an Octavia pedal. So I'm going to try to get that one. Additional note on that. Hey George, you keep posting all of these cool custom fuzz faces on your Instagram page. Why don't you sell? I see them for sale in Japan, but they're never offered to anybody in the States. What gives, man? I mean, come on. I want one. Okay, other than that, I think we're pretty straight on FUZZFACE stuff for now. Listen, it's coming. I'm going to get a vintage, a 60s, late 60s FUZZFACE. It doesn't matter how much it costs or whatever. It's coming. Trust me on that. Using this 1958 Stratocaster into this small box 50 from 1968. This is a plexi head. I've had it for a long time. Using the Jazz 3 XL. It's raining outside. I have a bunch of pedals plugged in, so we're getting a little bit of noise, but on to some other business really quick. Was a extreme deep week of record collecting, and I will briefly share the titles that I found and that I think that you should probably own if you are a serious music lover and a guitar player. First things first, this is the Grateful Dead Live Dead. This is the one with the green labels. This is the first press, and you probably really need this because they're in fine form on this album. Don't slip. Get that. A lot of people have trouble getting into the Stones. Some people love them, some people don't. You know, you might be Beatles. You know, who knows? It doesn't matter. If you're having trouble finding an entry point of a Stones album to listen to get into the band, you know, I would suggest this classic record. This is the Sticky Fingers with the zipper. Zip, 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 zip. Andy Warhol's name is right here on the underwear when you unzip the zipper. Just a note there. This is a nice copy. We can't really talk about records without getting into something crazy funky, which brings me to this album, The Sweat Band. This is Bootsy Collins and George Clinton produced. Bootsy also plays bass on this, and it is a crazy funky album. He also does a little bit of the vocals on this. But if you've never heard the Sweat Band, you need to hear it immediately if you're into funky records. This is kind of a, I wouldn't say that it's really valuable or anything, but you know, it's kind of a, you don't see it all the time. So if you see it, make sure you buy it. It's not really expensive. Oh, speaking of nice records, this first press of the Dire Straits album, which has all of the coolest songs on it. If you get a Dire Straits record, this is the one. This has Sultans of Swing and Six Blade Knife, Down to the Waterline. I mean, this thing is a... You want to hear some great sounding guitar tone, some chicken picking fricassee? This is it right here. This is first press, very nice album. Just amazing. If you're a guitar player, you have to have it. Last but not least, boom, ZZ Top's Fandango. Okay, you might not. Everybody knows this record because of Blue Jean Blues is on this album, and it is really, really good. ZZ Top albums are plentiful, and you can find the original one fairly easy. At that point, you're just trying to find one that's in great shape so that, you know, you don't want a bunch of junky records. You want stuff that plays good and is relatively quiet on your turntable. So, enough of this ridiculous rambling. Please like, subscribe, tell a friend.
They shall not out from me.